Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Kano, how you
Woo!
doing
Yeah!
today?
I am tired. It's been a long week, but we're here, and I'm with Mousie. And honestly, that makes me happy. So if nothing else, it means I get something to look forward to. So
Stop
I'm glad to
it.
be here.
Stop it. Flattery will get you everywhere. Um,
Uh-huh.
why was your week long? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but
Yeah. It's just, well, for my work currently, we are kind of doing a content shift of sorts, to try and put more videos out. And so going from only making 3 videos a week to currently trying to produce 5 videos a week is, not quite double the workload, but nearly double. And so just
mhm.
been feeling more of the creative fatigue lately. And so just, been having more difficulty sleeping sometimes because my hours haven't been as consistent on certain things,
Mhm.
which is my own fault. Because I like to stay up late. Like, I need to get my Genshin dailies done. I have to do this, and then
You are more dedicated than I am. I will skip dailies multiple days in a row.
yeah. Well, you're smart. I'm like, I've got way too many welcome moons for me to let that happen. I must get
Yeah, but see,
every
like, you can
primo I
just,
can.
like, open see, when I bought the welcome when I used to buy the Welcome Moon when I was, like, actually active on Genshin or could be, I would
Hmm.
open it up on my phone and claim the Welcome Moon and then log off.
Yeah, which like I can do, but then I'm like, well, then the commissions are right there, and that's like an extra few primos. I gotta make sure I get them
Mm.
done, and then I don't wanna
Oh,
lose
and then
out
my
on
weekly stuff
resin.
reset? Oh, I'll just do my
Yeah,
weekly.
and it's fine. I'll probably be done with BP by next week, but that's just normal things.
Bro. I barely made it to 10.
I know, but they have all the event stuff
Oh,
for
that's
Windbloom,
true,
so
that's
it
true. You get,
boosted me
like,
up
a
quite a few
lot.
levels too. Yeah, but
I gotta
anyways,
do that,
so
but I haven't
outside
yeah.
of that, it's more my own time management that causes problems, but then I'm also like, but I like my time management on some things, so I wanna just keep that up, but other than that, I'm doing alright. How about you? What are you up to, Grandma? What's your week been like so far?
Honestly, um, my week has been it's just all over the place like it normally is. I have very much been struggling to get an edit done that was given to me.
Mm,
Um, it's a very big video, so it's not going to take a week, and I know that, but my biggest thing is the thing that I struggle with most when it comes to editing is like putting content to voiceover. Because you can give me the voiceover and I'll be like, "Oh, you're talking about this," but like I have to go and search through like a ton of footage that you've given me to like find what you're talking about. Or
right.
like find the best clip that showcases that. And I think that's like the thing that I struggle with. But after I have all the footage and I'm happy with it, I'm like boom, 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 boom. Like I'll do all these funny edits, I'll add this, and it's just like so easy for me. It's much more easy for me to do mini game content and like things like that and like adding like funny sound effects. Like when I was editing for Lauren, like that shit was easy. I love doing it. I could pump out a video for Lauren in like 2 hours.
Right, because the type of editing is different, and it's more just you already have what you need already
Yeah,
kind
I
of
just make it, I
chronologically
emphasize it.
placed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of where I stand with that. But otherwise it's just been recordings. Not having D&D yesterday and having it moved Friday gave me a chance to catch up on The Last of Us, which I finally
Woo!
completed. Woo! I will say that like one specific scene, and this is not a bad thing, didn't play out
Mhm.
the same way that the game did. And I feel like it wasn't as impactful, but at the same time, they are
Mm,
not trying to replicate the game. They are making their own, they're bringing the characters to life in a different way. So I'm not
right.
mad. I was just like, oh, that wasn't as impactful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And a certain somebody showed up in the last episode, and
I
I was like, oh my God,
saw
I
that.
love
I
her
was
so
like,
much.
Mousie's probably dying of excitement right now
Oh, yeah.
because
Her performance was the only one that made me cry in the last episode. And if you know what happens at the end of The Last of Us, that says a lot. Um,
Mm,
yeah, so that's kind of just been my week. Well, I
I get you.
happy that I caught up. Um, but it's probably going to be old news by the time this comes out. Um, but the streamer awards were, I believe, over the weekend, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
Yes.
because QT Cinderella put together and made an entire award show, like a professionally made award show for streamers, and it was really, really cool, and I really liked it. It just unfortunately had to end not so nicely, but we'll get to that. Um,
Yes.
to talk a little bit about the Streamer Awards, if you guys were unaware, um, it's just some fun facts that I thought was really cool. Uh, at like the statistics for it, because it was live streamed on Twitch, obviously.
Hmm.
They had over four, what was it? 426,000 average viewers.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
like it says audience size was like one and a or almost 1.3 million.
Mm.
Um Crazy. Absolutely crazy that that's that many people tuned into it. And it was the first streamer award. I really hope that they do it again next year. Um because I didn't know it was happening. I didn't know, and I wish I would have watched it because I love award shows. I watch them with my mom all the time. I don't watch them now because I live on my own, so I don't really go to my mom's house during award season, but my mom always watches them, and I liked watching them with her and be like, "Oh my god, this person. Oh my god, who do you guess?"
Mm.
Um but some of the awards and winners that we can talk about were, um, obviously there was the Legacy Award, so people who like I guess it was between like the people who've been on Twitch the longest, that and
Mm.
all that. Derma won it. Um,
Yeah.
Best content organization was Offline TV. Best just chatting streamer was Hassan, which I actually like Hassan. I don't always agree. Like,
Ah.
I don't always agree with what everything that he says because sometimes it can be very like very left siding. And I think that having like, yes, you can be very left siding, but I think like acknowledging right sided views is also good.
Mm.
Um, Best Minecraft streamer was Quackity.
Yeah, good for
Props,
Quackity.
which is really shocking to me that it wasn't like George or Dream or someone, but I feel like Quackity probably or like Phil.
Mm.
But like I know Quackity like literally that's the content that he makes. I don't think he makes like YouTube videos. I think he just streams. So,
Yeah.
understandable. Um and then we have who else? Best VTuber is Iron Mouse. I like that T-Pain got best music streamer.
Of
Which I
all
think is,
people,
yeah, I think
just
that's
there.
so interesting. Best variety streamer was XQC. Um
Mhm.
my uh my local Canadian, but also arch rival because he's French. He's
Yeah.
French Canadian. um and the ones that I am really like happy for because I'm a little bit of a Valorant fan. I don't watch them um per se, but I know that they're big in the Valorant community. Was Kaide. They won best Valorant streamer. And then
Mm.
her fiance won gamer of the year, which I thought was really cool. Tens.
Yeah.
Um I my heart goes out to Kaide and Tens because Kaide, if some of you don't know, we didn't touch on it on the podcast at all, but um Kaide was diagnosed with cancer recently. I believe it's lymphoma, but I will double check that. But her speech was so funny. Like it was really short and sweet, but she literally goes, she's like, I really appreciate this, cutie. This was my make a wish.
Uh,
I was like, bitch, that is so funny. Oh, so acute myeloid leukemia. That's what she
okay.
was diagnosed with. But I was like, way to make like way to stay on top. Like I'm a very dark humor kind of gal, so I love when jokes like that are made. I love dark humor so much. So I just appreciated that joke so much. But I saw that clip and I absolutely lost it. I was like, you what? No way,
Mm.
no shot. And it's so funny when they announced her, she looked so confused. They were like looking around like, "Are you serious? Like
Like,
I
really?
won?" Like, oh, okay. But yeah, I thought that was really thing, and I thought
Yeah.
their speech was really funny. Short, sweet, and a good dark humor joke in there. um, but the unfortunate thing to happen at the Streamer Awards, um, let's just say, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
A certain Irish streamer, as some of you may know, was a part of the Dream SMP for a while. Just makes, unfortunately, made a promise that she could not keep. She promised Cutie, which they were friends. I don't know when their falling out was per se, but they are no longer friends. I
Mm.
believe it was before this all happened, but um Cutie essentially was just like, you can come and you can be you can be on the floor with all the other streamers if you don't drink, if you promise not to drink. Promised. There's like receipts and everything of being like, yeah, I'm gonna be on my best behavior, I'm gonna be good. um some streamers are saying that Minx showed up wasted, and then it just got worse from there. But apparently she was yelling at people, being loud and disruptive, and everything went south when they went to the
Mm.
after party. Because by that point, Minx was gone, beyond inebriated at that point,
Mm.
causing a bunch of problems. I don't even think everyone fully got in the door before people were telling Cutie that like security was like escorting her out and like she needed to be taken like away from everybody. And then something which Cutie is saying is fake. Obviously, I'm not here to comment on it, but apparently Minx had a seizure. She was pushed and then fell and then started having a seizure. Cutie says that it's fake and that she's never seen Minx have seizures before and they were friends for a long time. Um, but one of the things, and I'll put all the receipts up on the YouTube video, but Cutie responds to a tweet, goes, "Oh, go fuck yourself. You were drunk before the
Mm.
after party. I almost had you thrown out of the show because you were yelling and making everyone uncomfortable. Completely. I've tried everything with you. Rehab, everything. I hope this is your rock bottom and get help." Minx is replying to other people, and then these people are being like, "Oh my god, I hope you're okay. And like I hope that people helped you." And then Cutie responds, "Oh, go fuck yourself." And then Minx even says, "Send me an invoice for the after party. I'm sorry." Do you want to know how much
It's
the after
just
party was? It
far more than it should have been, I presume,
was
but
50K.
ugh!
The after party, the venue, the food, the drinks, the
Oh,
security, everything was 50,000. And because they rented this area, they rented this place that they could go to, um because there was a medical emergency and the cops were called, it was shut down. And she lost
man.
her deposit, she lost the entire like everything. The whole after party was canceled. All that 50K gone. Um and it just really sucks because Cutie had said it in a podcast interview where I think Valkyrie, Hassan, and someone else, I didn't recognize who they um were there, and they were talking about it, about how like it was very high school-esque. I've very much had a similar situation with my like one of my after proms, is that I
Mm.
went, everyone was camping out, we were drinking, we were having fun, someone got hurt, and we had to call like an ambulance, and then police showed up because here in Canada, if you call one, they all come. Um
Mhm.
and uh it just sucks because people were messing around. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I don't think I'll ever know because it was years ago. But
Mm.
someone ended up throwing a bottle at a paramedic. The cops
Oh.
had showed up and they were like, "Hey, what's going on?" or whatever. And we're like, "Oh, we're having our after prom. Haha, like, we're gonna be good, don't worry." And the cops were like, "Okay, like, we don't want to have to come back kind of thing. We're here for the
Right.
medical emergency, but don't make us come back because we will shut it down. And they're like, the owner of the house was like, yep, completely understandable. We're going to be responsible. We have adults on hand that are going to be here helping and supervising. And then someone threw a fucking bottle at a paramedic, and the cop was like, nope, that's assault towards an EMT. It's
Right.
shutting down. Everyone pack up, leave. And I'm like, you son of it's so annoying. And I bet you, like, the person who was hosting was probably 10 times more annoyed than the people just having to pack up and leave. Like,
Right.
it sucks that that had to happen. And, like, I'll put some video references down below, and, like, I'll put the interview down below so you guys can go check it out yourself. But everyone is just obvious, like, not, I say obviously in the sense of, like, not rightfully, but
Hmm.
in a situation like this, it's going to happen where everyone is just flaming Minx. She posted a TikTok recently of, like, her glam, and she's, like, in the car on the way to the streamer awards, and then she's, like, making this TikTok or whatever, and then everyone in the comments is like, moments before disaster. Maybe you should
Mm.
have turned the car around, like, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh no, Minx. Like, Minx has never had like a good reputation, and I feel really bad for them in that sense. Um, but yeah, that's like the current drama.
Yeah, which I mean, it's I mean, not that anyone's asking for my opinion, but it's
No, I
definitely
want your opinion.
one of those situations where it's like it sucks for everybody.
Hmm.
It's on the one hand, like I was reading some comments on the tweet because I there was one person who said something. I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. Where it's like, Minx has a reputation of this being a situation, um,
Hmm.
and so you know QD had obviously a choice to offer and extend this invitation or not. Um, and on one hand, there is some level of understanding. It's like, okay, if you're going to be at an event like this, where it's very difficult, I think, because of the culture that's around these kinds of parties, to be sober as a person at a street party when everyone else is drinking around you, and it's sort of the culture. I can see where it'd be tricky to avoid something
Well,
like that.
she was
Um,
originally supposed to be up in the balcony. She wasn't supposed to, like, she was not going to be on the floor with all the other
mhm,
streamers. And, like, Cutie was like, I believe that it says it in this one. Yeah, you can come sit on the floor if you promise you won't drink. Mink says, you are nonstop at the top. And she says, and I mean promise. Mink says, pinky swear. QT says, nothing, completely sober. Mink says, but I bought my tickets. You could raffle them off if you let me sit on the floor. So never fully agreeing to it, but, like, I
mhm,
understand where Cutie's coming from of, like, you are, like, a streamer in this community. I don't know if they were nominated. I'm assuming not because they were not down at the on the floor with, like, all the nominees, but, like, you are a streamer. We've been friends for a while. I wanna give you this chance. Um, and I know, like, it would mean a lot to you because you are in the streaming community and you wanna be a part of this. Like, I'm, like,
right.
extending a branch kind of thing, and, like, Minx just snapped it.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's one of those things where it's like she definitely didn't make good choices.
No.
Um, and it's yeah. I mean, it's sad. I At the same time, I do think the part where that it makes me feel like it's sometimes with these kinds of dramas, you always wonder it's like, is it people just trying to shut people down? Is there something
Mhm.
happening that's bigger beyond this? And I think again, just the fact that it seems very sincere from what Cutie said of just like, hey, I've tried everything. I hope that this is when the comment for I hope that this is your rock bottom. Get help really stands out to me as something because if you really ever hate someone like that, you never wish them well. Um,
Yeah. Even if she meant, like, even if she was, like, upset about it and she was saying it of, like, "I hope this is your rock bottom, get help." Like, if you didn't care about someone, you would just, like, ignore them, or you would, like, stop talking to them completely,
right,
or, like, you would just tell them to, like, it would end with just go fuck yourself.
right, yeah, I stop there. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, so it's sad. It's sad that the investment got lost. I also understand why it happened though, and I don't
Yeah.
think. I think the people themselves aren't upset about the rules regarding it. It's more just about the situation and
Mhm.
what ended up happening because of
I think
people's bad
Cutie is
choices.
more pissed off about the fact that, like, she asked her to promise her, and then did the opposite of that, and then also lost a ton of money at an event that she was trying to make good.
Right.
Like you never hear of this kind of stuff happening at like celebrity rewards shows. Not that the streamer awards should not be considered a celebrity award show. It all depends on how you view streamers as a whole. But like they were trying to emulate that, and it just sucks that it had to get ruined by
Right.
like a poor decision. Um but on a more positive note, when it
Mhm.
comes to award shows, the Oscars were happening the same weekend. And something
Mhm.
that I did not think that was going to happen was almost an entire queen sweep of like
A
Oscars
queen
for
sweep.
a queen sweep for everything everywhere all at once. And I will say I have watched the movie. I'm going to give my personal opinion on it. I think that it is a way better Multiverse of Madness. I'm gonna say
Mm.
that the way that they did that movie should have been the way that they did Multiverse of Madness. Um or Doctor Strange on the Multiverse of Madness. Um
Mhm.
but I did find some parts where I was getting distracted. I wasn't like
Mm.
like enthralled and like like holding on, like my attention was lost at a few points. Um
Right.
but they they had 11 nominations in multiple different categories, including um, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Costume Design, Directing, Film Editing, like all of these. And they took home 7 of the 11 nominations,
Yeah,
which,
that's crazy.
yeah, which has like not been done since like the Lord of the Rings, I think, was the last one. I have a quote here from a Variety article, which is, it's been a while since the Academy Awards have seen a motion picture steal the show, like William Wyler's Ben-Hur, which made history in 1960 at the first Best Picture winner to receive 11 Oscars. Only 2 other films have received the same milestone, which is Titanic in 1998 and Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King in 2004.
Mm.
Crazy. It's almost been 20 years since a film has gotten close to that record. They had 11
Right.
nominations. If they had won every category, they would have been up there with a classic like Titanic and Lord of the Rings. I don't know the Ben-Hur movie.
That
Um
one's like it's an older it's similar it's along a similar line of like, from remember because I was this like the older one or was this
it was from the 1960s.
yeah, yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at Ben-Hur itself, it was a, um, that was also a remake movie as well. But no, I believe it's like a fictional story um, about people in Jerusalem. Well, not really Jerusalem, but like Jewish people.
Ah.
Um, and specifically going into detail about, like partially like relating to the story of Jesus, which I
Mhm.
think is interesting. It was a pretty religious film. Um,
And it still won 11 Oscars,
yeah,
which absolutely insane. But yeah, if they had won every single nomination that they had, they would have been like up there with the record. And like, I don't know, I just love like the act. Oh my god. I'm gonna butcher his name because I like suck. Um, but where the heck is it? The gentleman to win actor in a supporting role, Ki Kwan. I probably pronounced that very wrong and I'm very sorry. He was in the Goonies. He was
oh,
the little Asian boy in the Goonies.
hmm.
And his speech, to tears, absolutely to tears. And something, a completely different note that I think is really interesting is that at the BAFTA Awards, like a couple weeks ago, Austin Butler, so very sexy man. I love him very much. Um, he
It's just like,
won
oh,
actor in a leading role. He won the BAFTA for that. Um, and then he was nominated for his role in Elvis, which if you haven't seen Elvis, I went and saw it in theaters. It's amazing. It's so good. Um, but to win the Oscar for actor in a leading role was Brendan Fraser.
yeah.
I love that. The way that Hollywood has done him so dirty over the past couple of years, making his like dragging his name through the mud. I am so happy that he finally is coming back with a breakaway role type situation. His speech was so cute. He was crying and I just was like, "Oh my god, my
Yeah.
boy." I remember watching him in Tarzan and being like, "Oh my god." Cuz I love Disney movies, Pixar movies, all that. And like
Yeah.
just like when I loved Tarzan when I was a kid, and then like when the live action, like when I was old enough to watch the live action adaptation of it with my mom, like I was like, "Oh my god, who is that? A sexy man." And I don't know. I haven't seen The Whale yet. A couple of people I know that have gone to see it in theaters, they said they sobbed. It was so
Mm.
sad, and I cannot wait. I think it's out of theaters now, so I can't wait for it to come to a streaming platform and I can watch it because it has oh, what the heck is her name? From Stranger Things. Redhead. Name's Max in the show. Can't remember her name off the top of my
Um,
head right now. But she's also in it. And I think she plays her daughter. His daughter, sorry. Max
Sadie
Stranger
Sink?
Things. Yes, thank you. Pretty appreciate that. Sadie Sink. She's becoming a good little actress. I do like her very much. Um, yeah. Those are just like the things that I was like excited for. I see a lot of people for the actress in a supporting role saying that Stephanie Stephanie Shu should have won um that instead of Jamie Lee Curtis. Still an Everything Everywhere All at Once nomination win. But
Mhm.
people were saying that like Stephanie did a fantastic. I agree that she did a fantastic job. Um, but a lot of people were like, Stephanie should have won, not Jamie." But like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of flack against Jamie Lee Curtis because of the fact that I remember a lot of people were upset in particular because of the fact that I'm barely remembering her name right now, which is really upsetting. The mom from who played the mom, Black Panther's mom in Wakanda Forever,
Oh,
the actress. I'm
oh
forgetting,
gosh.
which is really sad. Like, should not forget
Hold
this
on.
because
Was she nominated?
I'm pretty sure it was
Angela
mentioned
Bassett.
that I believe that
Was that it?
yeah, I believe she had been given, or at least that yes, she hadn't gotten the Oscar. She was nominated though,
Yes.
and a lot of people were devastated that she hadn't
Oh.
gotten it because she's in a similar situation where she's attended many award shows but hasn't ever been given anything um in that way. And so a lot of people were feeling that it's very much as like there was a lot of people saying that these Oscars felt to them like it was sort of like kind of trying to garner up like people who hadn't gotten Oscars before and giving them nominations for things.
Mm-hmm.
Um which I I disagree in the fact that I think it's, again, they're award shows. They're ultimately going to have some pieces that are going to be looked at with a lot of scrutiny,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a lot of people who deserve to get awards who don't get them. Um, but at the same time, I think it's also just a reminder again that, you know, if there's someone you like, just because they get an award or don't get an award doesn't mean you can't appreciate. It doesn't mean it doesn't
No.
mean you can't give them recognition for the kinds of things that they're doing. They might not be recognized by the Academy in the same way, but the
Academy.
Academy is also just the Academy. It is what it is. And
Yeah.
so,
I will
if it's
say.
something people have a problem with, then they just need to, they can do what they can do about it, but at the same time, there's also not much they can do.
I will say I would need to check my facts on this, but I'm pretty sure Michelle Yeoh
Mhm.
is um the first Asian woman to win actress in a leading role. I could be wrong though, but I feel like I've read that somewhere along with Kihu, who for actor in a supporting role, that they were like, I'll find it and I'll link it down below if it's true. If it's not linked down below, then I'm just spewing shit out my ass.
Mm.
But I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Michelle Yeoh was like first time an Asian woman has won actress in a leading role for the Oscars. Um, which is sad, but I'm glad that they're fine. Like, people of different ethnicities are finally being acknowledged in their acting roles, and it's not all just whitewashed.
Mhm.
um, and another little positive thing that I saw from someone that I follow is that um Jamie Lee Curtis is gave their Oscar they them pronouns because they're hold on. Uh, I think it was I think it's their I'm just gonna say their child because I don't know what they go by, but their
Mhm.
child is trans. I think it's daughter. I think they go by she. Um but yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh yeah, my Oscar is a they them, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. I love that, and I love that like little bit of representation, even if it's just personal. Um,
Right.
I love. Uh, yeah. So that was the Oscars.
Yes.
A lot of award shows going on right now. I don't really know what other award shows are coming up, but I'm sure we might talk about them and cover them a little bit.
Yeah. Whenever they happen, you'll hear about them here a week after they've happened, if not more.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, let us move on to our Should I Be Scolded segment. I've got
Yes.
two, or three this week. Two of them have been answered. One of them has not.
Mm.
I'm gonna name, or I'm gonna list off the ones, and you tell me which one intrigues you the most. And we will start with
Okay.
that one. So, should I be scolded for thinking my mother-in-law's obsession with my son is absurd? Then we have, should I be scolded for getting my girlfriend a gift basket full of things she avoided during pregnancy? And then, should I be scolded for telling my sister she's the reason our parents are divorcing?
Oh, there's a lot of good options there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I would be down to start off with I'm curious. I feel like it's a bit more lighthearted. I'm curious to start with the one about the gift basket for the
Okay,
girlfriend.
this one is short, so. All right. Should I be scolded for getting my girlfriend a gift basket full of things she avoided during pregnancy? I, 26 male, became a dad a month ago, hence why I'm posting at 4 a.m. I can't sleep. I got my girlfriend, 24 female, who I was living with pregnant. Her parents never really approved of me after that. When I brought her home after the birth, her parents came with us. I paid a buddy of mine to buy a bunch of things she couldn't have while pregnant or avoided while pregnant and put them in a basket. Some notable items were sushi, an expensive bottle of her favorite wine, and a Keurig machine. I'm assuming for coffee. I can only assume.
Mhm.
I know she misses having a glass every once in a while. She's been especially strong when I've had my buddies over to watch sports and we've had a few beers, but she also loves her coffee tell I couldn't tell you how she went to work for 8 months without it. So I felt
Mhm.
bad and splurged. When her parents saw this gift, they called me uneducated and said that the alcohol can get in the breast milk. I told them I did my research and they said that it is immature to gift alcohol to a woman who just gave birth. I may be overthinking this, but am I the asshole? Um,
I-
I think they're focusing too much. He's focusing on the coffee and bought the
yeah.
wine for like later, maybe. and they're focusing on the wine.
Right.
I mean, I don't know about coffee either in regards to breastfeeding. I'm not a mom. I don't ever plan to be a mom. Not in that way at least. And I I don't know.
I guess,
I-
like, for me, it's kind of like, e regardless of whether she can enjoy the gifts now or not, she will be able to
Later.
eventually.
Yeah. And like
Like,
sushi after birth, like bad thing?
yeah. So I feel like I think it seems, especially, I mean, there's context added, obviously, but it could be a much more loaded idea of, you know, they just don't particularly care for this person. And so there's the parents are just like, well, if this is a reason we can diss you, we're gonna do it. Um,
Yeah.
I think it might be a kind of a mountain out of a molehill situation where it's just like, you know, it's a very small gesture of that was meant to be kindness that got translated to something that wasn't, and I think will very quickly be able to be moved past eventually, as long as it's done correctly.
I'm reading the comments and um well, actually I should say what's your guess first?
My guess is that they're going to say that they should not be scolded.
Okay. Well, you'd be correct. And I am living for the comments. One of them says most doctors have now recommended that if you can find, pick up, hold, and nurse your child without issue, the amount of alcohol transmitted in the breast milk is not a problem.
Hmm.
Someone else said, "Yep, Dr. Jack Newman is the man. Stop restricting mothers based on spooks that aren't based in science." Then someone else said, which is the comment that I like the most. It's her
Mhm.
parents. He could have bought her the most perfect new mama superfood known to science, and they would have found a fault. He can't win. He is not the asshole. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was funny because yeah, genuinely, if parents don't like you, like that's it. There's nothing you can do
Mhm.
to change that. And I agree that it seems like a very lose lose situation for him, unfortunately. But yeah, he is not the a hole. He should not be scolded. Yay! All right. That one was quick. Which one would you like now?
Um, I'd say the next one then is
Parents divorcing or obsession with son?
mm, I mean, maybe it's just because it sounds really interesting. I really want to know about this obsession with the sun thing.
Okay.
It just
All right.
sounds weird, and it
I mean, if
makes
like I
me
read them
really
fast
curious.
enough and we get through them, like we could probably do all three.
True.
But all right. Should I be scolded for thinking my mother-in-law's obsession with my son is absurd? I have a 4-year-old and I am due with baby number 2 mid-year. My husband, 27, and I, 25, have been together since we were teens. Mother-in-law, 47, was jealous from the get-go of our relationship. I've read up on this a bit. It's due it's to do with her not having her emotional needs met by a partner, so they subconsciously use their son to meet those needs. I don't think they're wrong. I feel like there's been like studies on that. It's fucking weird though. Anyway, then I fell pregnant with my own 4-year-old. She kept saying my baby, and sometimes she would slip and start referring to hubby as our child's brother. This continued my whole pregnancy, and she would boast about it to anyone and everyone. Then, when he was born, it all amplified. She wanted to take him to spend alone time with him from the time he was a couple of weeks old and would be offended when we said no. She would say, she would always say that grandma loves him more than his parents do. She would kick up a giant stink whenever she wasn't able to take him out alone. She never wanted to spend time with him around us. There was so many times where we tried to set boundaries, but she would always do it her way and guilt trip us.
Mm.
When we would do things together, she would physically push the pram out of my hands and she would push the pram everywhere anytime we were together. I'll push my baby, and I was never allowed. She would never correct people if they assumed she was his mother, and as his parents, we thought that it was too weird. He is always her grandson, but he is never ever our son. Anytime we do anything, it's always about her. It's like she's now using my son to meet her emotional needs, which even though it's subconscious, to me, it's sick.
Mm.
Um, slash negative. um, I have tried to place more boundaries, but always get met with guilt trips. Um, when we go places together where my son will experience what I call firsts, all of those things are taken over by her. Even just small details like going to buy a drink, she needs to take him instead of us. She either takes him and does them without us, or I'll say, hey, maybe he could do that with his parents too. And she will be unhappy and making sure that he holds her hand and he's sitting next to her and not us. She always makes sure comes over to me that she gets his attention back onto her. She's constantly tells him she loves him the most. He's her favorite. He's her favorite person. And anytime we do anything together, it makes to make her the center of his attention. Now that I'm having another baby, also a boy, I have been worried that it'll be the same thing all over again. But it's not. I caught her telling my son, "Don't worry. You will be grandma's favorite always. You are grandma's boy. You won't have to share. I'll always be your favorite person." And that is just horrible.
Mm.
She is saying things like, "You and grandma can do things together and mom and dad can have the new baby." Am I the asshole for thinking that this is just absurd behavior? And there's two edits after. Thoughts?
Yikes. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yikes.
say, yeah, I can see now where she would be so, or they would be so prone to make assumptions like this about the mother-in-law, because it seems, yeah, that'd be, I feel like I can understand from the mother's perspective of you know feeling like this this is a little creepy, because again, it just because you're related does not entitle you to this sort of relationship ever with anybody. Um, and so, and the fact, I think the last comment there especially unnerves me a little bit, because it's like, you shouldn't be telling kids that kind of thing to assure them. That's not good to like be like, hey, you're gonna always be my favorite no matter what.
Yeah. You're
Like
not
wouldn't
going
you
to be
rather be more
mommy's
like, it's
favorite.
like, just because of the fact that you're having a baby, sibling, doesn't mean that I'm gonna love you any less. It just means that I'm gonna have more love to share, kind of thing. Like, the
Yeah.
mentality is just a lot more self-serving as compared to, like, kind of looking at the effect that it can have on the child. And so I and it doesn't even seem like in this case too, like other times we've had stories that get brought up where the people are talking about scoldedness. Um, like, if there's usually some sort of like direct consequence or something that's like viciously happened. In this case, it seems also just more like a pure assessment in general. Um, and I don't think at all that this is in any way um the mom's fault. This is definitely to do with the grandma,
Yeah.
for kind of putting herself in every sort of situation and trying to impose her life into, her son and her grandchild's life. Like, that's just,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's just
that's my thought.
it's just sussy behavior all around. Like any situation like this that I hear about of like the mom like being like pretty much in love with her son is like the biggest red flag to me.
Mm.
Luckily I haven't been exposed to any mama's boys. Um Probably for my own good, and also the sole fact of I would probably be out of there so fast.
Right.
So fast. That shit's weird. Like don't do that. Like go find another 40 something year old. I think they said she was 47. Go find a 50-year-old man who wants to take care of you and leave your goddamn 4-year-old grandchild alone. That is so creepy and unnecessary. I am triggered by this fucking lady. That is disgusting. Like, and it's so shitty that like if the roles were reversed, that if this was like oh my father-in-law and like had the same kind of obsession, everyone would be like, oh, he's a pedo, he's a child molester. But like with the
Mm.
mother-in-law, like people would just be like, "Oh, she just loves her grandson." No! She's also a pedo. That's weird. I don't care what you think. Like, don't Don't do that shit. It's weird. It's creepy. I don't. That.
Yeah,
Um.
I mean, at least it doesn't I will say it doesn't seem sexual, which is where
No,
things
but
get
it's still like
creepy.
you're like it's still like a like borderline grooming because you're manipulating this kid to like love you the most, and you're telling them that you love them the most, and their parents don't love them, and they're gonna love their next child more than you. You're creating a weird, like, probably anxious attachment system where like you are the winner of this. It's borderline grooming. It's fucking
Mm,
weird.
yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not claiming it's okay. I'm simply saying that, like,
No, no, no.
I feel like going to pedophile is a bit of a jump, in
But
terms of,
people would
like, what
jump
I
if it was a male. That's the shitty thing.
right.
Is that if it was a guy, they'd be like, "Oh, he's probably trying to fuck him." It's like, "No, shut the fuck up. That's weird. Blech,
Yeah,
don't
no,
do
have
that."
the same standard. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, double standard. It's fucking weird. What is your vote before I give you the edits?
Oh, yeah, my vote is that they should not be scolded.
Yeah, no. Um, the first comment I will say, is your mother-in-law sounds dangerously mentally sick. No is a complete sentence. You need to stick to your no. It is also super unhealthy for a child to hear these things. I'm surprised you have not had behavioral problems from your son. You need to nip this now. Stop allowing her to guilt you. Think of your son's well-being every time. Please do not allow her to have alone time with him, and correct her when she makes statements that she is making. It's time to confront her without your
Mm,
son around, not the asshole. And the edits were: we have had many talks, me alone with her, him alone with her, us together with her. It always ends with her crying and guilt tripping us. I understand it now after reading comments. Sometimes it's hard to look in from the outside when you are stuck on the inside. For a while there, I thought taking her away may have been a bad decision because of how much he adores her. In my mind, I was taking away someone he cherished. After reading the comments, I can now see what is from the outside looking in just needed that boost to get there and get out of the box. The guilt I was feeling was mainly because of how he feels towards her, which now I get. How could a 4-year-old not cherish someone who gives into his every whim? I get that now that's actually manipulation, and when you stand here and watch them, you watch how his eyes light up when she's around and how excited he is. It does take a little bit of a shove to look at, but a different angle and to having that realization moment. So,
mm.
not an it's more of an edit versus an update. An edit to be like, "Oh, adding on to the fact," but so
Right.
far there's no update. Um so I don't know, but majority voted that they are not the a-hole.
Mm, good.
um yeah. And I also will, I know, and it's shitty that it's like the bare minimum, but I feel like not a lot of men probably hear it, so not a lot of men do it. Props for sticking up to your parents for your partner.
Mhm.
God, it is literally the bare minimum, but thank you for doing it. Like, do it more.
Right.
It's so frustrating when you like butt heads with your significant other's parents and they just stand there and let them like bully you, verbally abuse you, whatever the lengths that they go to like
Yeah.
bring you down a peg. Even if it's not this weird obsession, it's just a matter of like, oh, I don't like you, so I'm gonna butt heads with you, or like
Right.
personalities, and your partner just stands there and like lets it happen. Don't do that shit. Stand up for your partner. Your parents will always love you no matter what. Don't be afraid to like tell them to shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
You're going to be with your partner for the rest of your life. Your parents, unfortunately, are not going to be there for the rest of your life. And yes, you do owe
That's,
them some respect, but if they're being assholes, do something about it.
right. Gotta treat them, gotta hold them to a standard.
Yeah. They raised you. If they raised you properly, they raised you to be a good person and to stand up for what you believe in and to stand up to bullies. Unfortunately, if they're being a bully, gotta stand up to them.
Mm.
And that's my opinion on that. All right. Would you like to do one more?
Sure, I'm
This one's
down.
kind of it's long, but there's no edits.
Okay.
Okay, doke. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she's the reason our parents are divorcing? About a month ago, my 24 male 24 parents? What? Oh, I think they meant to say my sister. What? My parents are 55 female and 57 male. Announced they were getting divorced. I don't. Oh, they meant me. They're 24 male. My bad, my
Mm.
bad, my bad. And their parents are 55 female, 57 male. Announced they were getting divorced. This has been quite a shock to most people as they seem to be having two issues out of the ordinary. However,
Mm.
I have been the one privy to the information of why they're getting a divorce. It's because of my sister, Anne, 26 female. Anne is a deadbeat. She never worked
Mhm.
more than 14 hours a week since getting expelled from college for multiple acts of cheating and code of conduct violations 5 years ago. All she does is sit at home most days watching TV or going over her loser boyfriend's house to get high.
Oh.
She feels no need to support herself and expects my parents to carry her through life. She's been in therapy since she was about 14, but cannot keep one for more than a year because she gets dropped as a client due to her lying and inability to show up for appointments. My parents have spent over a decade trying to get some mental issues pinned down for Anne, and all they've gotten is she's just a lazy narcissist. Last year, my mom decided enough was enough and planned to kick Anne to the curb and wash her hands of her. Dad disagreed, and in the end, two's marriage got torn apart. I know because both have come to me basically admitting that it's Anne. If Anne was not a factor, divorce would not even be a consideration. I don't get
Mm.
along with Anne for a variety of reasons. She has always been a bully and owes me a large sum of money at the moment. The thing that boils my blood, though, is that she's oblivious to the situation between our parents and just doesn't care, or just doesn't care. She's had a literal tantrum when the possibility of the house being sold came up because she didn't want to have to move to an apartment with my dad. Last night, I found myself at my parents' house and had the misfortune of talking to Anne. Anne mentioned that she's getting really sick of mom's melodramatic shit and not just leaving the house to her and my dad. Something struck me at that moment, and I just asked Anne if she really does not care that she is such a selfish, garbage, waste of space human that she's driven my parents to get a divorce. I elaborated and told her the full truth that she is, in fact, the only reason they're getting a divorce because my mom's finally realized that there is no hope for you, for no hope for Anne to will ever grow up. The shitstorm this caused was massive and acted as if I sold her out to the Romans, and my parents argued between she deserves to know and we told you that in confidence. Because Anne cannot keep her mouth shut either. The entire extended family has begun to hear too. I want to know before options start forming outside the inner circle if I am an asshole here.
Mm.
So there should I be scolded for telling? That's like the main
Mhm.
thing. Um, oh, my personal opinion, because this one has not been answered yet, so I don't know
Mhm.
the verdict. Um, I this whole situation is ringing a little bit too close to home.
Oh.
It's ringing a little bit too true. Um, but I get the, like, we told you that in confidence, but I also understand heat of the moment. Like, are you really that fucking stupid? You don't see that you're the reason? Um, I think this is just a messy situation all around and probably couldn't have been avoided.
Mm.
Obviously the person writing doesn't want their parents to get a divorce because divorce is scary, it's sad, it's hard. I am of divorced parents.
Same.
It's not fun. It's really, you want to keep your parents together. And if that truly was the only reason and they had a great marriage otherwise, I jeopardize it. So I understand
Mm.
where the person's coming from of being like, oh yeah, like I don't want to see my parents get a divorce because of something so easily changeable if the person just put in effort, which they're clearly not.
Mhm.
So I think they're kind of like, I think, yes, they should be scolded for saying that because the parents did tell them that in confidence, and it probably came out in a heated moment, but I don't think it was unjustified. I do think that the daughter in this case, Anne, is an asshole and probably deserved to be yelled at, but it just sucks that they were yelled at in in a moment of anger
Right.
and kind of broke the like trust a little bit of whichever parent was siding with like we told you that in confidence.
Yes. No, I think I coincide a little bit. I'm more on the lines of I think they're maybe just because the way that I tend to go about things. I don't usually get angry enough to where I would ever say things that I haven't thought through, at least at one point in time, like to some extent of like, is this okay to say to someone or not? Um,
Mhm.
and so I have a harder time empathizing in the sense of like, okay, this is something my parents said in confidence. I simply won't say that. I would mentally refuse to tell people that in that way if, without the permission of those who had asked me to keep that confident. And
Mhm.
so I I I definitely agree that I think his sister ain't all there, has a lot of issues. Um, but at the same time, to word it in that way, it feels more like a targeted kind of move. Um,
Yeah.
to I mean, hopefully try and get her to see things, but I guess maybe it's coming from a sense of like what where it might seem. It feels like the sibling really want to try and bring her some pain, like say like I'm going to try and hurt you by saying this, and obviously they want to try and make change happen, but at the same time, it's like you didn't necessarily have to say it in that way. Um, you could have found a way to get around it without like trying to dig at her. Um, and so
Mhm.
I do agree with you that I think I'd probably be more along the lines of as compared to saying that um they should be scolded. I'd be probably the option more of like I think everyone should be scolded. I think it would have been
Yeah.
important for the parents to talk to their daughter about that and
Mhm.
express that,
The dad shouldn't be
especially if it's
coddling
something that
her.
relates to her and is going to change her living dynamic too. Um,
Yeah.
because then it would have removed the any of that at all from the other sibling, just to say, hey, look, we've already had this conversation.
Mhm.
Um, instead of keeping it secret from her, like it's some big deal. Like it is a big deal, but it's like that's a lot of pressure then to not share with somebody because you want to try and protect them from what?
Yeah. I agree that I would agree that everyone is the a-hole in this situation. So like the dad the like she's being a daddy's girl, he's allowing her to be, he's coddling her a bit. If this really was something that like the mom was on like the side of like no we need to kick her out, like that should have been a conversation that they had.
Right.
um and I don't think that the person writing it was um they probably shouldn't have opened their mouth, but uh, yeah, I get it. It's hard when you like have to hear both parents' side and be like, they're like,
Mm,
"Ah, bah, bah, ah, bah, 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 bah," and then you're like kind of stuck in the middle, and you're feeling like you need to be the mediator, which is kind of unfair of the parents to put on you. But I understand that like if you're close with your parents, they're gonna talk to you about like problems going on in their life because they love you,
mm.
and if you're an adult, then they probably feel like they can talk to you about that kind of stuff. So I I understand more than I think anyone knows. One of the comments was not the asshole daddy's girl needs to have a reality check. And then a person responded and said, it's still because of the sister though. Dad definitely needs to get his head out of his ass and think of what he's doing, but it's still about the sister. Someone
Mm.
said, as far as the actual marriage relationship, it's the dad's fault. The catalyst is Anne. Technically, Anne could have been kicked out if the dad wasn't so willing to coddle. it's never the kid's fault, even if they're a horrible deadbeat for unknown reason.
Mm.
So yeah, that is, geez, Louise. If you guys want to let us know your thoughts, you can leave them in a comment down below on the Podbean podcast, or you can leave them on YouTube. You can tweet us. You can put it in our Discord. There's so many ways. Let us know what you thought about the Should I Be Scolded segments.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, we're going to move on to the Q&A. Kano,
Huzzah!
would you like to ask a question?
I would most certainly like to do so.
Pull a question from the heart of questions.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I would like to be selfish and steal this question because I like it a lot and I
Sure. You have
saw
an
it and
answer
I
for
want
it.
to. Yeah, well, definitely. I have for sure. So many. But as one of our favorite games that we both like to play,
Mhm.
what Genshin Impact character would you like to be or to meet? This can be
Meat?
anybody.
I think that I would want to eat. Oh gosh. I think I'd want to meet Ito because he just seems like so fun. And like, I feel like I like I would like crack jokes and he'd laugh at them and he would crack jokes. And I don't know. I think it would just be a good time to just
Mm.
like hang out with him. Someone I would want to be though. Um, Gosh, I'd kind of want to be one of the archons
Mm.
because they're just hella powerful.
Mm.
I don't know. I think it would be really, really cool to just like summon a meteor or like vortex people into like destruction. I did see a little side tangent. I saw like this, I don't know if it was an Unreal Engine or not, but someone had created like Venti's alt if it was real. And
Oh
they
yeah, I
like,
remember seeing that.
yeah, and they
Like,
like shot it between mountains and it was massive and it sucked in all the mountains around and I'm like, what a dangerous power I'm realizing. Like
yeah,
that if it didn't only affect enemies and like the world wasn't like stagnant, if it was more like Minecraft where you could affect the blocks in the world around it, then you could just demolish a whole side of a mountain with that thing.
yeah.
Like that's insane. Um yeah, I don't know which Archon specifically. I'd like to say like the Raiden Shogun, but I'm like, do I really want to be stuck in eternity for like 500 years?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I also think that like I know I have Zhongli and he's like one of my favorites, but he's
Yeah.
just a sly little fox. Like I think it'd be so cool to be like obviously he's got his different forms. I think it would be really cool. And I don't know, just summoning a meteor is like pretty cool. What about you?
Okay. So I've thought about this one more than I should. But in terms of characters I'd like to meet, I'm torn between two, but I think I know which one I would choose. I would either want to meet Toma, or the one I'd probably pick would be Sincho. I would love
Mm,
to meet him. I think it'd be so cool because he's just so
you guys would get
gentlemanly
along.
and kind, and he likes to read, and he also is an author. Like, I feel like we'd have a lot of really good discussions together about like
Mm,
philosophy and other stuff. And I'm like, that would be so fun to like meet him. Of all the characters, super cool. Um, he was like the one that's like stood out. I was like, yeah, he'd be one I would like to see because he's just generally kind, and I think that's just really cool.
mhm,
Um, as for who I'd want to be, I feel like I would either. I think being Gene would be kind of cool to be in a position of leadership, but also to be able to kind of like have be surrounded by people who care about you and support you, like in Mondstadt, and have access to like Lisa's library all the time. Be able to like be in that whole space would be really neat.
mhm,
And also just I like her vision of Animo. I think is really
mm,
fun.
mhm,
Um, And you also have Barbara as your sister. I mean, come on, that'd be awesome.
Oh.
Um,
There
and
it
then
is.
sorry, it had to come somehow. I was like, I don't know if I want to be Barbara, but being
It's
Barbara's
none of those
sister?
reasons he listed.
Mm,
It's solely to be Barbara's sister. Or
no, I like Jean
yeah.
in general. Um, and then I guess
A pop
the
star
only
sister.
like the other person I probably would want to be. I mean, it probably sounds cliche. I think it'd be fun being Tainari, being able to
Alright.
kind of like be a forest ranger again, people with like knowledge and respect. Like he's someone who's kind of like out there, and a lot of his voice lines,
Yeah,
despite the fact that they were voiced by someone we don't talk about anymore.
yeah.
He's no longer that character.
Character is different
But
than the voice
yes,
actor. I'm
but
gonna
but
say
his
that. I'm gonna
voice
die on that
lines
hill.
remind me so much of like journalists being like, "Uh-huh, well, you can do this all you want, but I'm gonna do what I want anyway." And I'm like, that would be me. That would be me. I would be the Tainari of the academia being like, "Yeah, you guys want to be all hoity-toity. I'm gonna be down here actually working with the plants,
What are they
getting
gonna
stuff
do?
done.
Lock me up?
Lock me up." Yeah.
I
So
dare them.
so that would I feel like I would either be Jean or Tainari. That'd be my mix
That's
of like
so
who I'd
funny.
want to be.
You either are a person in a position of power that has that is respectable and also has a lot of respect for everybody, or you're just like you're like lone wolf ranger in the forest that is just like probably one of the smartest people that
Right,
the
but it's very
academia
like
could have.
gets very like passive aggressive petty
Yeah,
about like other things.
that's funny.
Yeah. What can I say?
That's probably
Anyways,
one
but
of like the
yes.
best voice lines. What are they gonna do? Lock
Do
me up?
lock me up.
I dare them.
Yeah. I know it's a shame, but it's
It'll
not
be
our fault.
revoiced soon. It's fine. Fine.
Exactly. We'll get to
Yeah.
see it again, and someone will have a really cool interpretation of it. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Heck yeah.
Um anyways, well, what question would you like to ask me, Grandma?
I want to ask, what are your favorite bad or mediocre movies? I will go
Oh,
first. Sorry, I'm swinging my
okay.
headphone and Caramel's
That's
playing with it.
fine.
I just like hit him in the paw and he was like trying to go after it. Um, my favorite bad mediocre movies is like that like 2010 era of movies like Twilight and like I
What?
don't
You calling Twilight mediocre?
no, it's not no bad. Like people think that it's bad. Like the movies are
Okay.
bad. They're like cringe. But like movies along that line. Um I don't know. I just there's and I'm gonna I'm gonna say it. I know the jokes are outdated, but I love Step Brothers and I like and Super Bad. Like movie like 21 Jump Street, like shit like that. Like I would never obviously repeat those jokes and like obviously some of them haven't aged well, but I do like movies like that. So oh, I just like what why was it that between that why was it between Muhammad and McLovin? Muhammad is the most commonly used name in the world. Okay, but why? Like it's just I don't know, super bad
Yeah,
quotes. Yeah, but yeah, those are
I get
those would
you.
be mine. Like raunchy 2010-esque movies or like Twilight.
Mm.
Twilight, I will say, got better over the franchise. Like Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 are way better, I think.
Mhm.
I don't like the CGI baby, but I think it's better than having whatever fucking doll that crawled out freshly out of hell that they were gonna have instead. I would rather them CGI and butcher it than have whatever the
Yes.
fuck that was.
Yeah,
Um,
I get you.
if you don't know, just just Google Twilight, Breaking Dawn, uh, I don't know, Renesmee doll or something, and I'm sure it'll come up. It was very bad. What about you?
Mm. Because I'm someone who grew up on Disney Channel,
Oh,
um, when I think of
oh my
bad
god,
slash mediocre movies, I tend to think a lot of like there were some pretty cringe Disney Channel DComs out there.
that is
Um,
true.
but some of them are just banger. Even though they're cringe. Um, like one of the ones that I still find myself enjoying is this one called Stuck in the Suburbs, which is all about this celebrity guy who's like, I want to be not a celebrity because I want to get back to the heart of my music. So I run away and I get lost in the suburbs during this filming thing. And then these girls steal my phone and then they start texting as me and live the celebrity life and ruin my life and change me so I can be a part of the heart. And like, it's so cheesy. It's not that it's bad because the acting's fine for what it is. It's so ridiculous, but I'm like, but it's fun. I love it. It's really cool. It's very nostalgic for me. It's like in terms of like that's one of the ones I think of especially. It's not again, not that it's bad, but it's just like lower production movie,
Yeah,
Disney
cheesy.
Channel kind of
The
vibe.
writing is
Nothing you'd
awful.
see as a blockbuster
Yeah.
on TV.
Did you see,
Um,
I was thinking about the Jonas Brothers, like Camp Rock or anything like that, and then I started thinking
I
about this
did.
this excuse me, clip that I saw recently of Sophie Turner roasting
Mhm.
the Jonas Brothers. Did you see that? It
No,
was
I didn't see that
so
one.
it was so good. Sophie Turner opens and she was just like, I never thought that I would end up marrying a celebrity. And when I saw Joe Jonas for the first time in Camp Rock, I thought, yeah, he's never going to amount to anything. He's probably gonna be the person I marry. I was like,
That's
bit. It's
hilarious.
so good. If I find it, I'll link it down below. But I don't know where it
That's
was.
so
It's so
funny.
good. And then she went on to talk about she's like, yeah, um she was talking about all three of them. And then she was like,
Mhm.
yeah, and then Nick is just Nick. And you guys all sing in the same vocal range, so you never know which one is which. Like it was just really funny. Like if I find it, I'll link it.
Yes.
But
No,
yeah, Camp
please.
Rock
That's
was
yeah, but see, like, but sorry, because Camp Rock though, it's still like it was good enough that it got a sequel.
but
Like
it's the
of all the
writing
channel
was
movies.
so cringe and
Like,
the
yeah,
act it was all their
the
first
writing
acting
is cringe.
roles.
Yeah, but like it's funny because like I still prefer the first Camp Rock over like Camp Rock 2, for example, where it's like we gotta set the camp, guys. We gotta
Yeah,
work hard.
yeah.
Oh no, my love, we were meant to have time together, but now you're too busy for me. Like fire and
Literally
rain,
ripping off High
you
School
could drive
Musical.
me insane. And that's just the whole thing. It's just like okay, thanks. That's great. Again,
Literally
very
High
fun.
School Musical 3 ripoff.
Yes, I know, right? Exactly. How dare they rip off themselves and
I
their own
gotta
successful
go my
formula? How
own
dare they?
way.
I know. See,
What
and High
about
School Musical 2 is one of those
us?
for me, it is probably my favorite High School Musical movie of all 3 of them because
Was
it
it the
was
one where they got
so
jobs, or was it 3 that they got jobs?
no, 2 is where they got jobs, where
Okay, okay.
they went to the resort
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
work
yeah.
at Sharpay like, where Sharpay's parents owned it. Like, I like
Yeah.
this the plot of that one, despite the fact that, like, it felt like a progression, they got better,
Mhm.
than the first one, and the songs were so good in that
Yeah.
um, like, those are the ones
Some
that
of them
have
were
that's, like
kind of out of tune, but otherwise they're pretty good.
yes. No, exactly. I still think that there's this one part I remember in the original copy of High School Musical 2 where, like, part like, the cut the editing for the audio was so weird. It was,
Yeah.
like, out of sync Sharpay audio, and she's, like, dancing, and then you see, like, the words come, like, 5 seconds like, not that long, but it was, like, it's so obviously, like, "Ooh, they missed that one."
Yikes.
Um But like but anyways, but that's so like Disney Channel original movies have a very special place in my heart. Um, but they obviously aren't like movie quality. And sometimes movie quality I don't need. Sometimes I want something that's a little more like
Yeah,
casual.
I
Still
agree.
like decent for what it is, but like it's not like you're expecting the greatest things from it. It's just meant to be kind of fun and chintzy. Um,
Do
so
you hear caramel crying in the background?
I don't. Not over
Okay,
the sounds
good.
of my own talking, so you're good.
Sorry,
I
I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just he's crying in the background. I'm like, God, man, dude, stop.
no. The audience
But
might though. Let us know if you hear Caramel crying in the background.
comment down below.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Another question. Another one.
Yes. Another one. Another one.
Hmm.
Um. So bad. There's this one question I really feel like we need to answer at some point because we've had it for weeks, but it takes time for us to prepare, and then I feel bad
No, we
because
don't
I want
prepare.
to answer it, but we need to prepare it.
I mean, I kind of have some off the top of my head, but no.
Yeah, but nothing like I want it to be like the cool, like thoughtful question. So I'm like, I want to save it for when we really have time. Um, I'm going to choose the question. of because I think this is very telling, and I want to change it up a little bit because I think it for me it's something I think could be interesting to see evoking. But with regards to like malls, so like public spaces,
Mhm,
malls,
mhm.
um, what do you do when you're at a mall, and how does what you do now compare to what you did at a mall when you were a kid?
Oh, she's ad lib there.
Yeah.
Um, Currently at malls because of COVID, I stopped going to malls frequently. And I will say, and
Mhm.
this is not meant to be sad, this is just a thing that I noticed that when my aunt passed away, I like stopped going to malls more frequently because she would be the person that would like take my sister and I separately on our birthdays
Mm.
and we'd have like a weekend with her where
Oh.
we would go see like a movie. We'd either go out for breakfast or dinner. We had to like pick a sit down dinner. Um and then we'd go shopping and we'd get like an outfit or something. And it was like really fun. And like that, she would do that like every year for us. And I noticed that like after she passed away, like I was in a long-term relationship at the time that like I didn't really like go shopping unless I like absolutely needed to. If my grandfather got me like gift cards for my birthday for Christmas or something like that, like I might hop into a mall, but I also might just order online. And a big thing came of like when COVID hit that I really wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't even doing online shopping during COVID. I don't like the biggest purchase that I made during COVID was upgrading my computer. Don't
Mm.
tell the government, but I used my SIRB money, which is the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit, to upgrade my computer. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Every Canadian got a relief benefit. You could claim up to
Mhm.
6,000. I only claimed 4. Um and I used like 2 of it to upgrade my computer and then I used the other 2 to like pay off my credit card, which still had a bit of like student debt on it and then also like because of COVID we had been like eating out more. We hadn't really going grocery shopping and like I was still working, so like I was still spending like the same amount that I was, but I was working 2 jobs at the time. So like I wasn't pressed for money. Um but everyone got it. It was free money that you claimed. However much money you took, you'd pay a percentage of it back on your taxes, which at the time I was working 2 jobs. That was no problem for me.
Mhm.
I still got like a decent tax return. Um, so yeah, that happened. And then now that COVID is not over necessarily, but I definitely felt I got gift cards for Christmas and I definitely felt more comfortable going to a mall instead of just ordering online.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I kind of just like now that I'm older, I kind of just have like the stores that I know that I want to go to, and then I browse the stores. If I find something, I'll pick it up. If I don't find anything, I'll move on. Depending on the time of day, I usually grab like a drink or I'll grab like a snack. Um, at the if it's lunchtime, then I'll grab food at the food court, and then yeah, I kind of just go home. But I will say, when I was younger and I was in high school, hanging out at a mall, like I went to a school that was in like the boonies, like
Mm.
so we didn't have a close mall
Out in the
really.
middle of
Out
nowhere.
in the middle of the damn boonies. Um so we didn't really have a mall to go to, but when I would go to a mall like with friends, we'd kind of just like we'd go get food, we'd kind of walk around again, like browse. We'd like there'd be like seating areas that we'd kind of like hang out with. We'd go into like Walmart and like mess around. I will say, and I've told this on stream, think. I have stolen from a store before. I'm a very bad person, I know. I stole a shirt. That was the biggest thing that I've stolen. But everything else has just been like candy or like little toys or something like that. So
Can't
please
believe it.
don't come at me, okay? I was like 15. I was peer pressured. All right. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to fit in. Stole a shirt. I immediately like didn't keep the shirt. Like I think I wore it like once or twice and then I was like, I don't actually like this shirt. And I like gave it to my sister or something like that. Or like it donated it. I don't know. I didn't even keep it.
Right.
So I don't know. It's in someone's closet now or it's probably in a landfill.
Wow.
Wow. Great. It's the way that the world works. But yeah, I don't know. I never really hung out at malls. If I did, it was like with a group of friends and it wouldn't be for very long. Like we'd bike there, we'd go get food, walk around, and then we'd like go bike somewhere else, you know?
Mm.
Um I Yeah, the most amount of time that I spent in malls was probably with my aunt, and it was like the mall that we would go to was like closer to downtown, so it had like a movie theater in it and it had a restaurant. Oh my god. You guys have the chance. I don't know if we have them anymore, but if you're in Canada, like on like Southern Ontario, go to Moxie's Bar and Grill. Just do it. They're a little pricey, but like it's so good. They've got like this like brownie like ice cream dessert. Oh my god, it's so good. But anyway, I'm as you can tell, I'm hungry at the time of recording this. But yeah, what would take you to
Yes.
malls?
So when I go to malls now, it's I think it's pretty similar to what you said. Of how like because of COVID taking things over, I don't go and spend as much time as I used to. Um, but
Mhm.
they've still been always like a time for my mom and my sister and I to spend time together. So we used to go to malls together all the time. And so now that we're older, my mom still likes going to stores and browsing, so we go to malls at least maybe like once every 2 weeks or so just to spend
Mhm.
time and go to some stores and stuff, and so we'll take a look around. I don't usually buy a lot of things unless I see something I really want, in which case I will buy it because I have money to do that. Um, but a lot of the time, it's just kind of to have something to do during the day. Like we just go and spend time and look at some stores. Most of the time, it's me going to stores that my mom and sister want to go to, and I'm just kind of there to spend time and hang out with them and play
Moral
Pokemon
support.
Go, or be the one who gets to hold the clothes while my sister's like looking at different options in the racks and stuff. Um, and so it's not that I usually like when we go to malls, it's not that I don't go places that I want to go to, but because I'm there to spend time with the family, we go everywhere we all want to go together. So we kind of take turns. And most of the time there's more stores that my mom and sister are interested in going to than me. So that typically is how it works out. But comparative to how it was when I was a kid though, um like similarly, I guess not as much has changed because my mom used to take my sister and I all the time to malls.
Mhm.
Like we'd go because before like my sister went to kindergarten, she had no job. She stayed home. That was her role in the family dynamic. And so she would have us all day. So we would go to malls a lot. Like there was one that was only like 15 minutes away in Vernon Hills. There is one that was in Deerfield. There is one in Schaumburg. There's like all these malls in our area in general because we're close to Chicago. And so we had a lot of places to go to, so we'd frequent them a lot, and they had a lot of, like, play places for kids that we'd just go and hang out at,
Mhm.
um, and go to stores and stuff, and so I definitely don't spend as much time in malls as I used to, but I still spend a good amount of time there to the point where I know, like, what businesses are not doing very well. My
Yeah.
mom, like, she still knows people at, like, some of the food court places that, like, she'll go and say hi and be like, "Oh, yeah, we know you for however many years at this point now because 'cause we've maintained relationships there." Um, and so, like, yeah, we're just malls
Yeah.
are a place for being social and for you go in and go out, but you're mostly just there to have a good time. If you
Yeah.
wanna get something done, you're not going to the mall because it's an investment of time.
I definitely
Um
have been a power shopper in the past, so I definitely can go to a mall and power shop, but with the way that online shopping works now, like it's just, easier.
mhm.
But I don't know.
So yeah. But I do like me some malls though. I on the one hand, I wish that so many of them weren't kind of closing down, but I
Yeah.
also understand why. Um
Yeah.
because it's a lot. But I do have very fond memories of going to food courts and
Mhm.
just getting the food there. Like they're
Food court Chinese food has a special place in my heart. It will always have a special place in my heart. It's just so good. It's better than
mm,
I don't order like pizza or Chinese food like I usually like make like an oven baked pizza. Like I barely order pizza anymore. And my mom,
mm,
she really likes ordering Chinese food like every once in a while. And like she gets like good stuff and like the Chinese food is good, but like there's just something about food court Chinese food that just slaps. Like it's just so
mm,
good. I don't know. I love their
yeah.
like what the heck is it now? Honey garlic and like sweet and sour chicken bites. And like
Oh,
the fried like the vegetable fried rice. Oh, it's so good.
gotcha. Mm.
But yeah.
See,
Mm.
I grew up on like
I'm hungry,
mall
guys. What can I
pizza
say?
was always such a thing. Like they
Ooh.
had they still have this place like called Sabaro, which is basically only in malls. I can never
Mhm.
it's never anywhere else. But it wasn't the best, but it was always kind of cool. It's like this was a place that like was tailored to make food, like, and they'd always pre-make their pizzas and they'd all be ready
Mhm.
and they'd warm them up for you when you get them at the mall, but they'd still taste so good. And be like,
That was
I need
literally
this.
so um my ex, not my most recent one, when I was in my ex
Hmm.
from high school, we would literally drive like 30 minutes to a mall because, like I said, we lived in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Um, where we would drive like 30 minutes to go to like the closest mall to get like mall Chinese food. I don't know why.
Hmm.
We just make like a day of it. We would just like walk around, go to like be like, oh, we gotta go to Walmart for something. Oh, let's just go get like let's go to this place and we'll go to Walmart, but then we'll grab some food afterwards. It's like yes.
Mm.
And I will say before I move on to the game, um,
Yeah.
I went to a mall for the first time after COVID, like a month and a half ago or something like that, and that mall has a Cinnabon. Bro, my world has been changed. I've seen Cinnabon, but I've like never gotten anything from there. Um,
Mm.
'Cause I don't know, it's messy, it's not like a good, like, walking around food, you know? So
Yeah.
but, like, we actually, like, sat down and got Cinnabon, and I was like, "This shit is
It
so good."
slaps.
In the words of Gen Z, that shit was bussin'.
Yes.
That shit slapped. It was really good, and now I'm, like, craving Cinnabon. So, guys, I'm just hungry. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But Um, Kina, would you like to do the segue?
I'm very yes, we're playing game.
Okay.
You're welcome. So today's game,
No,
I
you
managed to get mousy
don't.
with that. So
No.
easy. It's
Okay, no,
great.
no, 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 no. If you let us know your answers to these questions, what you guys do at a mall,
Yes.
your favorite Genji character if you play Genshin, what's your favorite bad mediocre movie? Let us know down
Yes.
below in the
Share
comments
your stories.
or
We'd love to
yeah,
hear them.
on
Yes.
Twitter, in Discord, anything like that. Let us know. Okay, Kano.
Game? Game time?
Game time!
Game time! Yay! Okay.
Game time!
Cool.
All
No,
right,
yes. Anyways,
take it away.
yes, we love hearing your thoughts around, so please share. All right. So today's game, we're going back to my classic because I like it a lot and I'm boring.
OG
But we're going through
listeners will
some
know.
more Genshin character voice lines today.
Woo!
Because I think it's really cool to get to learn more about the kinds of things that they say and the things that they do. And especially for those of us who like Genshin a lot, but even if you don't like Genshin, I think it's one of the things I do appreciate about their game is that they have developed very good characters with really unique backgrounds and stories. And I mean, as a person who likes storytelling, I could just sit and watch Genshin stories and never play the game, and I'd be totally fine.
Oh.
They've really done a good job of crafting them. I like the gameplay,
Mhm.
but if I had to choose, you know, just Genshin's gameplay without the storytelling, I'd be kind of sad. Um, so I think there's some value there.
Mhm.
But the name of the game is which Genshin character said this, and so we're gonna go through some quotes from within the game. These are voice lines taken from each character's voice line page. I've made a selection of some characters that I own that Mousy potentially be familiar with as well. And then I'll read them out. Mousy will have a chance to guess. I'll give her one hint if she asks for it, and then we will see if Mousy can get the characters who've said these voice lines. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So this is our very first line. So I'll
First
read it
one
and I'll
is
do my
anyways.
best half character impression because I want to give you at least a little hint, but not terrible hint. So we'll see how
Okay.
it goes. All right, first line. Don't be too ready to trust people when they cross their heart and hope to die. Sweet talkers only say what you want to hear. When it comes down to it, we're friends. And if somebody ever conned you, I'd feel like I'd been cheated too.
Gosh. Um,
I can read it again for you. I can also give you a hint if you think that was one good reading.
um, I kind of have an answer.
Okay.
Can you tell me the region?
Yes. Region is Liyue.
Okay, okay, yeah. Uh, Yanfei? However you pronounce it. That's my guess.
The pyro lawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Solid guess.
all right.
It
All right.
isn't,
Ah!
but I'm curious. I'm curious why you think it'd be Yanfei.
Because that's the last part of the line. It's like if somebody ever conned you, I'd feel like I'd been cheated too, because she's a lawyer and her whole thing is
Mm,
about finding out the truth and bringing people to justice. So like, if
yeah,
the traveler were to get conned, then like she's like, oh man, I could have prevented that. I don't know.
right. I gotcha.
Probably Kaya.
You're close. To be fair, you're in the same letter range. It was
Oh.
Malon.
Oh. Also, I said Kaya, and then I was like, no, that's Mondstadt. Gosh darn it.
But you're very close though in terms of like the like character
They're
typing though.
girlfriends, Your Honor. Ah!
They literally are. I saw that too in the voice lines as well. That like
They're
that they talk about each other.
BFFs.
Yeah, they help each other with secrets.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah, but hey, that's all right. That's fine. It's only the first one. All right. Okay. This one is meant to be a bit of a skewer question, so hopefully the hint will make it easier if you
Okay.
ask for it. But all right.
Okay.
Okay, so this is this is the quote. I'm not a pet, you know. But since it's you, okay, you can pat my head, and I promise not to bite your hand. Just a little, though.
Ugh. So my first instinct was Tainari, but then I'm like, that end inflection makes me think it's someone you've been playing a lot recently. Um, can I get their vision or no?
Ooh, yes, you can. It is an animo.
Animal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's not who I thought it was gonna be. Okay, Animo. I'm not a pet, you know. But on my head, and I promise not to bite your hand. Who the animal? Who's an animal furry?
This is where Mouse is just like, wait, would Zhao say this? Would Zhao say this? Huh?
No, he would not.
He is
He would
short.
not. There's Haizu, Pazua, Dao, the Wanderer, Scaraboobs. That's animals. Sucrose. Farzan. God. I'm gonna say Kazuha.
Okay. Are you sure?
Don't say that! Don't give me that! Oh no. No, it's Sayu. It's Sayu. It's Sayu. It's Sayu. It's Sayu. That's
Good,
actually
thank you. I was hoping for the 2 extra
I'm
seconds
like,
before I
oh,
was like, I
sorry.
think you're thinking a little too fast. It's right there. I know it's right there. You can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yes, it's Sayu.
I forgot about Sayu as a raccoon.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think it's
okay,
funny because
okay.
originally, see, my thinking, if I heard this line, I originally think it'd be like a Diona line, because she talks
Well,
about how
that's
she bites people.
my
Um,
first was my first was Tainari, because I know he has a voice line where he's like, "You want to pat my ears?" Um,
mhm.
okay. Like I know he has like a line like along those lines. And
Yeah,
then I was like, no, wait, like the inflection at the end that you did, I'm like, maybe it's Diona. So that's why I wanted the vision, because I was like, if it's Cryo, then I know it's Diona.
right. It's guaranteed. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No,
I
that was
got
a
one.
solid,
Let's
solid
go.
question though. Okay, cool. All right. Question or quote 3. Okay, so this one actually I'm curious to see how you'll take it. All right. This is the line. Wow, check out all this power. How can I repay you though? Hmm. Oh yeah. I know this domain where there's a priceless treasure hidden somewhere inside. Let's go hit it up.
Hit it up.
Yes.
Oh. My first instinct was, I don't think that's actually, no, I'm lying. My first instinct was child, and then it was Ito.
Hmm. Do you want a hint?
Kinda, but I'm trying to think of what I should ask for.
It's like 20 questions, but you only get one.
Yeah. Age, sex, location.
That's not one question.
ASL, yeah. Anyway, um, could I have their? Can I have their sex?
It's not going to help you
Gender?
much,
Oh
but
well. Okay, then you just give me a hint. Give me a hint. Whatever you
okay,
want.
fine. Pyrovision.
Fine. Cryovision?
Pyro.
Pyro. Is it fuck. Zinyan? I'm gonna say Zinyan.
Season yet?
Wait, no. Bennett's all about. Yeah, I'm gonna say
Okay.
answer.
So you're locked on that one.
Yes.
You were nearly right. It was Bennett.
No!
You were just there. You were just there. Like maybe it is Bennett. Nah, it's not Bennett. I'm like, God, you were so close.
I have to get the next two right.
You do. Yeah, for all else the world will end, you know?
Yep. Sky is
All right.
falling. The sky is falling.
Exactly. All right. Quote number 4. This is a fun one, I think, because it's a voice line about somebody else,
Yeah.
which I think is exciting. So I'm curious to see if you'll have any inclinations based on what's been said, or maybe it'll teach you something about somebody else. So I'm kind of
Okay.
excited about that one. Right. Oh, so you're also acquainted with Sincho. He is quite the clever one, and with a sharp wit as well. The moment you let your guard down, you're at risk of becoming the butt of one of his practical jokes. Don't say I didn't warn you.
I know Sin Chow. They're probably a leeway character.
That'd be a very good guess.
The only good guess I've made.
Hey, hold on. You've made better ones. You've been doing okay today.
Moment you let your becoming the butt end of one of his practical jokes. Don't. The people that I know that interact with Sin Chow are like, Zhongling, Zhongyun. I feel like Ningguang might know about him. But I don't know if she would say, like, she'd joke about a practical joke. His practical joke. Also, I didn't know Sin Shao made practical jokes. I thought the jokester was Sino.
I mean, he is a jokester, but different kind of one.
Mm-hmm. He makes puns. I guess I need a hint.
Okay.
Hint on every question.
Let me see. What's a good one I could get? I mean, I guess one that I feel like is honest is it's a GeoVision character.
Oh. So Ningguang or Zhongli. I'm gonna say Zhongli.
Okay.
Wrong.
It's only wrong because you forgot about one of my favorite Geo characters in Liyue.
Ooh.
Yunjin.
Bitch. I did forget about her. I literally used her the other day. That's funny.
I was like, there's
I
more than
forgot
just
about her.
Ningguang and Zhongli in Liyue.
I'm so sorry, Yunjin.
And she's a good friend of Sincho's.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just Chongyun and Zhongling that were like to him.
It's because of the opera stuff because he appreciates it.
Ah. Okay. Well,
All
I
the
lost,
all I'm
but
realizing a lot of the characters in Leo are similar to Mondstadt all know each other. Like, you go to Inazuma, characters don't know each other nearly as well. You go to
yeah,
Sumeru, and, like, nobody knows each other anymore.
yeah. Nahida's the only one that's like, yeah, I know everybody.
I know everybody, of course, yeah, I know everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I
Alright,
know this person. I've met them.
final
Yeah, totally.
final line time. Are you ready for
I've
this
already
one?
lost, but yes,
You know, you're only a loss you learned something new today, that's never a loss.
that's a
Um,
win.
exactly. Alright, line number 5. "Yes, it's time to rest. You should sleep." "Me? It's still much too early. The night is beautiful, but it's also full of danger. I must keep watch, for your sake."
uh, First things now. Can I have the vision?
"Sure. It is a Hydrovision."
Oh, not what I was thinking. Hydro.
Mhm. I'm also wanting to see you succeed, so don't limit yourself to Liwa, 'cause it
No,
might
I'm
not
not.
be
I'm
there.
not. I'm not. Once you said hydro,
It
my
might
thought.
it might not be there. Might not
Yeah.
be there.
No, when you said hydro, my thought was Kokomi. But I'm trying to think if there's any other like hydro characters that would be like detective.
Mhm.
Um, but we already had Yelan. I don't think there's been any hydro characters from Umeru.
There have.
Who? Is there just one? Oh wait, Candace.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say Candace.
Okay, then you're right. It is Candace.
Yay!
I was looking through her
Yay!
voice lines, and I was like, "Oh, she's got some cool voice lines here," and I was like, "Huh." She's very protective. She has her shield. She wants to make sure she keeps her people safe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like there is, and I'm like, who? And then I was like, wait, there's that one person that hangs out with Sino.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they? Is that the only
So,
Hydro character from Sumeru?
well, no, Nilu. Nilu is also Hydro as well.
Nilu. So sorry, I forgot about you, Nilu.
There's a
So
lot of
many
characters to keep track
characters.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when Fontaine comes out, good luck.
It's gonna be even more.
Yay!
Because they'll be the release of a new region, so they gotta make sure they release a lot of characters at that time too.
Yeah. Characters that if you pull on the banner, you're never going to be able to farm for.
Yep, and then they're like, "Why?"
Point. I don't like how linear it is in that sense. Where you
Yeah.
like have to go to each region and like follow the Archon quest. Like, I don't know. You could just like grind and like skip the Archon quest, but obviously that gives you a lot of primos and experience and stuff like that. So it
Yes. No,
usually
exactly.
helps, and sometimes you get stun locked because of shit.
Exactly.
But you could just skip straight to Fontaine and like farm things. You just be really, really squishy. Because there is a way to start up the game and get to Inazuma without even
Yes.
entering Mondstadt. It's a glitch that you get like you just like you glitch into something and then you're able to like walk under the water
Mhm.
layer and then you can just walk all the way to Inazuma. It takes a while. It takes like 30 or
Yeah.
40 minutes to walk there, but you can do
Exactly.
it. So, yeah. Well, I got 2 out of 5.
Yeah, you got 2 and sort of 3. You nearly hit the 3rd one,
I
so
nearly hit Bennett,
and
but
overall, I think the only reason why the other 2 didn't happen is because I think you just forgot the character existed. If you'd known they were in the pool, maybe you would have thought of them.
uh,
So,
you'd
just a
think I
reminder, when you
know
play a
more
game with
about
lots of
Yelan.
characters, just give them a chance.
True. I have been debating on if I want to build. What did I say? I said in your chat the other day. Aizu or someone else that I wanted to build, but I don't remember.
Mm.
But yeah. Anyway, that was our game. Thank you, Kano, for putting that together. If
Mhm.
you guys are a fan of Genshin, let us know how you did. You can say literally just say 3 out of 5, and we would understand that it was a game that you got 3 out of 5 on. But you can let us know down below. You can tweet us. You can let us know on our Discords, or you can leave. Well, I said down below, but you can comment on YouTube, or you can comment on Podbean. And I'll say it again
Yes.
because I said it at the end of last episode, and I forgot to say it at the beginning of this one. We're on Spotify now, so if you want to watch on Spotify,
Yeah.
go watch on Spotify or listen on Spotify.
Give it
Yeah,
a listen.
give it a listen.
Exactly. Also say as well, this is maybe because I know the timeline of when this episode's gonna be coming out.
Hmm.
Um, and I assume that we'll probably have announced it by this point. But if you're listening to this podcast at a more live time, then I would strongly recommend that you check out our live streams that'll be happening on Thursday, which will be the day after this podcast comes out. We'll have VODs up about it
Oh.
as well. But it is going to be the final episode of the Eden SMP. So if
Mm-hmm.
you would like to see what's happening, we'd love it if you would tune in and just come and say hi and see what's happening because it's going to be the culmination of that whole story. It's going to be ending completely. So make
Yes.
sure to go check it out. You won't want to miss and see the story conclusion and
Mm-hmm.
see how Kano and Mousie fare.
And maybe for the week after, we might have some guests, and we can do a little like Eden themed
Exactly.
video. You can also,
Yeah,
if
that
you
could be fun.
so if you're listening now, leave us some Eden questions that you'd want answered. And we will either get the answer from the person, or they might just be on to answer the questions.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys very much. Be good people, do good things, and we will see you in the next podcast episode. Love you. Bye.
Bye.